News at 6. Eagle Eye TV has done a great job. And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Morgan Sims.
And I'm Brady Huneycutt. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Last Friday, Auburn University announced that the federal government had revoked the visas of 15 members of the Auburn community. Eagle Eye reporter Brett Fouts has more.
As the Trump administration continues implementing its newest immigration reform, Auburn University finds itself to be the most recent college campus to become the epicenter. Last Friday, the Department of Homeland Security and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement announced the revocation of the visas of 15 students and faculty members here at Auburn.
The Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Student Exchange and Visitor Program has revoked the visas, and Auburn University has denied any role in the decision. At this time, the names of the individuals affected has not been released due to security concerns. Jennifer Adams, Executive Director of Public Affairs for Auburn University, sent the following statement to Eagle Eye when we reached out. The statement notes that the university is aware of the situation and the Office of International Programs has reached out to the individuals affected. Additionally, the statement encourages any international student or faculty member to reach out to the Office of International Programs with any questions or concerns. The Department of Homeland Security also revoked the non-immigrant student status of 2 students at Troy University.
Last month, Alireza Darodi, an international student studying at the University of Alabama, was detained by ICE officials, and last week he was denied bond and faces threat of deportation. This remains a developing story, so check back later for more updates. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Brett Fouts.
At the beginning of the 2023 school year, Auburn University announced that it would be closing down Cambridge Hall residence dorms for renovations. 2 years later, Eagle Eye's Lucas Hazelray gives us an update on the state of Cambridge Hall and other living situations for students.
The need for student housing has grown year by year here at Auburn, and with that, the university has a plan set into place to renovate the Cambridge residence halls, which were closed all the way back in August 2023 due to water damage.
The closing of the Cambridge residence hall came as a surprise to the 2023 Auburn incoming freshman class. The hall closing just weeks before classes began left students scrambling to find a new place to stay, but the university had no choice. Severe water damage and mold left the building in an uninhabitable state, causing the university to make the choice to shut it down. Auburn's Senior Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Bobby Woodard, was gracious enough to sit down with me to talk about the situation and why now was the best time to bring Cambridge back to Auburn.
How we got to Cambridge is it really was the need. We need more on-campus housing. The location was perfect. Our satisfaction for our students, our customer satisfaction for students that lived there was very, very high. One of our highest in any of our neighborhoods. And so we knew we wanted that back. And 2 reasons why now was the right time. One was we needed more housing. We needed more on-campus housing. The demand for on-campus housing, our students want to live on-campus housing. And so we knew we needed to do something with it. The other time is construction prices are actually leveling off. And we can actually put a better pro forma together to see how much it really would cost for us to put it together at this time versus 2 years ago when it went down. The construction prices were going through the roof, and we really wanted to make sure that we can streamline it, but also keep it at a manageable rate. So that's why we're doing it now.
Believe it or not, Cambridge received a positive inspection report in June of 2023. Unfortunately for incoming residents, heavy rain would ensue over the following 2 months, causing the water damage to escalate to unmanageable heights.
We get our buildings inspected every summer. And once the camps move out, we get them inspected, and we got a good inspection report back on Cambridge. But we got a lot of rain that July and August, and as we started to move people back in, there started to be the building envelope on the outside, which is in between the concrete and the brick on the outside. The building envelope started leaking, and we could not stop it from leaking. And we could not keep students in there with a building that was leaking water.
Dr. Woodard explained to me that they are still considering building new rather than renovating the existing building. But with that being said, the cheaper option of the two would be to renovate by, quote, taking it all the way down to the studs.
The privilege or the promotion to do new would really get us into we can design it differently. You know, in renovation, we pretty much are stuck with the floor plan. And so we're still looking at both of those. We're still looking at building a new building with a different not a different location, but a different layout, or actually renovating the existing building. We're going to do two programs side by side to see what we can afford and which one will get us our biggest bang for our buck. So we're still studying both of those, but we're going in mainly, I would say about 80% that we're going to renovate versus new.
The team has hopes to reopen the facility by fall of 2027 as a new and improved version of the traditional style residence hall.
Reporting for Eagle Eye TV, I'm Lucas Hazelrig.
Auburn University is known for being a global leader in research, education, and student development. One of the ways Auburn has reached that pinnacle is through the Auburn Abroad program, which allows students to take classes while living internationally. Eagle Eye's Jill Byers had the opportunity to study abroad and tells us more about the opportunities provided.
Not only do Auburn University students make an impact on the communities at home, but they also make impacts around the world. Students a part of the Joseph S. Bruno Study Abroad program are making a difference in the city of Arica, Italy, which you can see behind me. These students are using this opportunity to immerse themselves into the Italian culture.
Arica is a city 45 minutes outside of Rome, which is home to 18,000 people. Auburn students have the opportunity to live at the Chigi Palace in the heart of the city for a semester at a time. Here, they learn about the culture, history, and the language of Italy, as well as some of the challenges the community faces. The students of Auburn are trying to improve the city of Arica with their Elevate Arica projects. Their goal are to improve community engagement and interaction, as well as interest in the city from visitors. They have created social media accounts to bring in more traction and highlight small businesses. Auburn students also hope to improve overall quality of life by hosting community cleanup events, teaching children English at the middle schools, and volunteering at the local food pantry. Another project they are engaged in is collaborating with the local refugee center run by the Italian Red Cross called Mondo Migliore. This center is home to 750 people, including minors, who have fled dangerous situations in their home countries and are trying to rebuild their lives in Italy. For children, this experience is particularly difficult, so Auburn students want to contribute a sense of normalcy to their lives by providing fun games and events for them. Some of their events have included a Valentine's Day craft making party, a Mardi Gras parade, and a glow-in-the-dark party. These events give the refugee kids opportunities to feel like kids again, as well as teach them about traditions from other cultures.
Auburn students in Arica have a very positive impact, and Mondo Migliore children, because children don't have so many interacting with offside people. Impact is so very positive. We are talking about that every day, every time, and the baby is coming to ask a program. The next time when the students is coming to make an activity.
This experience has promoted a cross-cultural exchange between the students of JSV and the residents of Arica, as well as encouraged connections with the kids at the local refugee center. Jillian Byers, Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Pebble Hill, a historic site right here in Auburn, Alabama, is most known for its connection to the university's College of Liberal Arts, serving as the home for Caroline Marshall Drawn Center for the Arts and Humanities. But what most people don't know is Pebble Hill's connection with the history of slavery in Alabama. Eagle Eye reporter Morgan Sims brings us the story.
Auburn University is deeply connected with the history of slavery in Alabama, and what you may not know is there's a plantation that still stands in our community. Pebble Hill, an antebellum cottage built in 1847 and was once the home of Colonial Nathaniel J. Scott and later Mary K. Scott. But it wasn't just a cottage.
The property was definitely a plantation property, and according to the 1850 census and the 1860 census, slave census, Nathaniel Scott owned many slaves.
As in many, that's up to 60 enslaved Africans who helped build the Pebble Hill structure but also participated in hard labor. This includes farming, pottery making, construction, and craftsmanship for no pay. A descendant of enslaved ancestors, Carolyn Bickerstaff, has a close tie to Pebble Hill.
I'm reminded of how close slavery is in my family because Pebble Hill still stands. Three greats ago, I had a Grandma Betsy who was a slave, who had a husband, but her husband wasn't on the same plantation with her.
But the history isn't only limited to those of African descent.
The house is a window onto the stories of Creek Indians and the story of early Alabama, and also the story of slavery and enslavement and the contributions that folks make, as well as the settlers who came here and the planters who created the town of Auburn.
Pebble Hill now serves as a historical museum for the community to take a deeper dive into the history of Auburn and understand why it's so special. And for Eagle Eye News, I'm Morgan Sims. Earlier this month, President Donald Trump imposed tariffs across all countries in an attempt to push domestic production, a move that comes just after Trump declared April 2nd as Liberation Day. Eagle Eye reporter Sophie Porter tells us how these tariffs affect Americans nationwide, and right here on our campus. Auburn University is deeply connected.
Tariffs might sound like something that only affects big businesses or international politics, but the latest moves by the Trump administration could hit closer to home than you think. From the cost of laptops to everyday essentials, college students could start feeling the impact in unexpected ways.
Just days ago, a new wave of tariffs on global imports took effect, and they are already stirring concern across industries, markets, and even college campuses. These tariffs introduced by President Donald Trump mark a major shift in the way the U.S. is handling trade. There is now a 10% tariff rate on all imported goods coming into the country. But when it comes to imports from China, that number increases to 145%. I spoke with economics professor Henry Thompson for more information regarding exactly what tariffs are and how they could affect college students.
Tariffs are taxes on consumer goods. They're taxes on producer goods too that producers buy to make other stuff. It's a tax when it crosses the border, and it has to be paid by the whoever imports the product. Of course, the foreign firm gets hurt, and so do the domestic consumers. What it does is raise the price of imported products inside the country. So the real problem with tariffs is that it lowers, not only raises prices, but lowers wages and income in the long run. That's a sort of a 10 or 20 year horizon, and that's the college student horizon.
I also spoke to students on campus about their opinions on these tariffs and how they expect them to impact their daily life.
I think it's very confusing to keep up with how many tariffs there are and which ones are actually being used, because it feels like every time a tariff is announced, it's immediately revoked or changed. And even though the tariffs aren't even in place yet, we're already feeling the effects. I have a bunch of money in stock markets. I already set up a Roth IRA for my retirement account. And over the course of 2 days, I dropped $2,000, and the tariffs haven't even been implemented yet.
I am not that informed of the situation. I do hear it's pretty complicated and maybe a bit complex. I think the idea is that the market will improve over time. Some people disagree, some people agree. I heard a dude talking about it in my class. That's about all I know. But I do know right now I'm probably going to go study it myself and form my own opinion.
For Eagle Eye News, I'm Sophie Porter.
On April 11th, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection posted a notice that electronics imported to the United States would be exempt from President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. The exemption includes smartphones, computer monitors, and various electronic parts entering the U.S.
Last Thursday, the French Club and the Caribbean Student Association hosted a Haitian night with a presentation to honor International Francophone Day. Here's the story.
This past Thursday, April 17th, Auburn students got the opportunity to experience and celebrate a culture of the Caribbean without leaving campus through the French Club and Caribbean Student Association's joint Haitian night.
The event, which took place from 6 to 8 in the Melton Student Center, was put on collaboratively by both Auburn's French Club and CSA, and was months in the making. French Club President Henry Limbo discussed what went into making this night happen.
We've been putting this event together. We've been working with the Caribbean Student Association for about 3 months. It's taken a lot of just communication and time working with both our advisors and each other to kind of get the menu set for the food, get some of the events organized as well, and get everything ordered.
The menu, which included several classic Haitian dishes such as Haitian orange cake, soup jumu, Haitian mac and cheese, and fried pork, was just one example of the way these two clubs collaborated to put this night together. The night also included a presentation about Haitian culture and history, as well as arts and crafts and an exciting tournament of Haitian dominoes. CSA member Nayla Anayus discussed what this night meant to her.
I am Haitian,
And so I really love my culture. I really wanted to spread my culture with everybody and share my culture with everybody. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of dedication, but I just wanted everybody to experience the Haitian culture and bring everybody together for this one night to celebrate the culture of Haiti.
Anius also discussed how events such as this one between two clubs can be beneficial for the club members and the Auburn family as a whole.
I think it's beneficial to see if we can actually work together without, a fight or whatever. It's important for us to not be scared of each other and to branch out and to see, I have this idea, I have this idea, and to put it together and create this event right now.
I'm Alice Estes, Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
When we come back, Ethan Clements will give you the weather forecast for the loveliest village on the plains. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Good evening and welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. My name is Ethan Clements, here with your weather outlook for this week on the plains. Taking a look at tomorrow, we're expecting a high of 84 degrees and a low of 62. Coming back to Monday, expect a very similar day with a high of 84 and a low of 63, with partly cloudy conditions. Tuesday and Wednesday round out the forecast with more partly cloudy conditions and more humid weather, as Tuesday will see a high of 86 and Wednesday featuring a high of 87. Going back to take a closer look at the weekend now, expect a hot and humid weekend. Saturday is expecting a high of 86 degrees and a low of 63. Sunday will have a high of 85 and a low of 62. We don't expect any rain over the weekend, so it should be a great opportunity to do an outdoor activity with some friends. That's all I have for you tonight. Stay tuned for when we come back, as Morgan and Brady will provide you with a national news update. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
The body of Pope Francis was transferred to St. Peter's Basilica during a procession earlier Wednesday, where it is now lying in state. Thousands of people have flocked to Rome from all around the world to pay their final respects. The Pope's coffin occupies a sacred space in front of the altar above the tomb of St. Peter, who is recognized as the first Pope. It'll remain there for 3 days until his funeral on Saturday.
As the body of Pope Francis is lying peacefully in state at the altar of the Confession near the tomb of St. Peter in St. Peter's Basilica Wednesday, outside a somewhat different feel, crowds sprinted to get in line to view the body before viewing closed midnight. All Wednesday, the walls of the Vatican City at a swell, with lines stretching as far as the eye can see, as thousands of mourners waited to pay final respects to a man they felt they knew.
He cared for the poor, for animals, and changed the Catholic Church.
Trying to unify and accepting different religions, races, and genders.
Cardinals were the first to pay their respects among thousands of mourners passing by. 135 cardinals are now charged with choosing the Pope's successor in the coming weeks.
Very sophisticated electorate.
Mourners say they hope the values that Pope Francis modeled will endure.
Who will stand for the truth, to unite everyone, poor, rich, black, white, and all sorts of people, even believers and non-believers.
Pope Francis's papacy was unprecedented in many ways, by being more inclusive, supporting same-sex civil unions, and his advocacy for migrants. In his final message, the Holy Father called for an end to wars in Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan. His outpouring of love for others from around the globe now being reflected back onto him, as he lies in state in a simple open wooden coffin upon the altar of the Confession.
He was the Pope of the people.
President Donald Trump is giving 2 college commencement addresses. One you might expect at West Point, and the other at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It actually marks the 3rd time Trump has visited the home of the Crimson Tide. He's attended football games at the school twice before. The president's speech on the Alabama campus will take place May 1st, which is actually before commencements begin the next day. It will be a separately ticketed event at the university's Coliseum.
A group of 12 states is suing the Trump administration over President Donald Trump's tariffs. He claims he can impose them single-handedly due to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It gives the president authority to respond to unusual and extraordinary threats. The lawsuit argues his use of that law is an overreach. It notes the Constitution gives Congress the power to collect taxes and duties. The lawsuit comes as Trump says negotiations during his 90-day pause on so-called reciprocal tariffs might not last 90 days in some cases. He says he might have some rates settled in 2 or 3 weeks. When we come back, Caroline Burrows will update you on everything happening in the world of entertainment. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Good evening and welcome back to Eagle Eye News. I'm Caroline Burrows, here to give you the scoop on the world of entertainment. Starting off tonight, we have exciting news for fans of Dancing with the Stars, as Robert Irwin has been announced as the first contestant for the upcoming season.
Yeah, well, at our wildlife
The 21-year-old son of late crocodile hunter
now,
Steve Irwin is the first contestant announced for the 34th season of the show.
We really do
Irwin is
specialize
followed
with
in his
koalas.
sister's
We can have
footsteps.
up to 100
Bindi Irwin
koalas
previously
that
won
are
the
in care
competition
at any
show
one
with
time,
partner
but
Derek Huff.
We've rescued so
A vintage Woody vehicle and massive mural are found in a World War II shipwreck, and a peanut-shaped asteroid gets a close-up. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
A recent revisiting of a famous World War II shipwreck revealed new secrets as explorers discovered a vintage wood-trimmed vehicle and a massive hidden mural in the belly of the vessel. The site of the USS Yorktown, an aircraft carrier that sank in the Pacific Ocean in 1942, has been visited by NOAA explorers before, but a recent remote rover revisit ventured into the ship's unexplored aft hangar deck. There, the crew spotted a mysterious vintage vehicle buried in the silt. It was tentatively identified as a 1940s-era Ford Super Deluxe Woody, similar to the one seen here. But what was it doing there? A prevailing theory suggests the car could have been used by high-ranking officials for foreign port business. Additionally, the rover's cameras spotted a beautiful, hand-painted map mural hidden inside one of the Yorktown's elevator shafts. The massive 42 by 12-foot painting appeared to chronicle the world travels of the intrepid carrier, which continues to reveal military maritime mysteries galore. Not so mysterious, but just flat-out cool, are these up-close images shared by NASA of a peanut-shaped asteroid recently encountered by the agency's Lucy spacecraft. The Jupiter-bound probe got within 600 miles of the rocky oblong object, close enough to capture detailed images of its craggy, dappled surface. Am I the only one that thinks it's kinda cute? Yeah, I know asteroids could have world-destroying potential. I saw Armageddon once on a bus with the sound muted, but I got the gist. I'm just saying, as far as peanut-shaped doomsday delivery devices go, this is one shell of an adorable one. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We're running out of time, but I have one more story for you before I send it back to the desk. Tom Cruise literally went to the ends of the earth for his latest film. David Daniel explains in today's Hollywood Minute.
Salisbury is just, it's breathtakingly beautiful. What an absolutely remarkable place to be able to film. It is a unique experience.
Tom Cruise is still going to extremes. Paramount revealed this sneak peek at filming scenes for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in the Arctic, a mere 650 miles from the North Pole, on the northernmost year-round settlement on Earth. The 8th and apparently final Mission Impossible movie blows into theaters May 23rd.
At last, I would be a detective in my own right, worthy of the Holmes name.
Enola Holmes is back on the case. Netflix has announced Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill are returning in Enola Holmes 3, which is now in production.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world. And 1.25 billion souls watching.
Life imitates art. The death of Pope Francis has sparked more interest in Conclave about selecting a new pontiff. The 2024 film recently hit streaming services, and it topped Prime Video's bestsellers list shortly after the Pope's death was announced. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Is the 2025 NFL Draft. The Tennessee Titans owned the #1 overall pick and are expected to take Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami.
Last night, Auburn University's Generation Action hosted its inaugural Take Back the Night walk to advocate against sexual and domestic violence. Around 40 protesters took place in the march, which began at Toomer's Cornered and culminated at the campus green space.
Tensions between India and Pakistan have flared up recently after a terrorist attack in the Indian-controlled Kashmir region left 26 people dead. Pakistan has denied any involvement in the attack. However, India has revoked all visas issued to Pakistani nationals in response to the attack.
That wraps up our last Thursday show of the semester, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. It's been great sharing the news with you all this semester, and be sure to tune in to our Monday show for our last newscast of the semester. I'm Morgan Sims.
And I'm Brady Huneycutt. Thank you for watching. Good night, and War Eagle.